Hi everyone, this is Sarah from SRS Designs, and today I'm going to show you how to make this Kawaii Loomigurumi Amigurumi bowl of popcorn. And there's little pieces of popcorn inside. I love it, it's so cute. What you'll need for this project is loom bands, and the bowl takes 392 bands. There are 9 rows here, so if you want to do different colors, I'm going to be making a stripe bowl. You'll want to plan for 9 rows on this part of the bowl. You'll also need a band for the mouth and some safety eyes. These are 6mm that I got off Amazon, or you can use black bands. You'll need 3 black bands for each eye. And to make the pieces of popcorn, each one of these takes 65 bands. And I have 6 pieces of popcorn inside my bowl. And you can make those white, or you could do, caramel corn, or you could even do what my kids love, is the colored popcorn. It's like covered in candy. So you could even do like one of each color of the rainbow. You're also going to need some sort of a hook, rainbow loom or crochet, and a stitch marker, because we are going to work in the rounds. So we're going to go ahead and get started. First, we will start by making a magic ring. So we're going to take one band, put it on our hook, and wrap it around 2 times. So you will have 3 loops. We're going to pull through this band 6 to form our magic ring. So you put the band on the hook, slide that triple capped band onto your hook. When you have both of the ends of the rubber band on, you're just going to make a slip knot, pulling one through the other. Just like that. You're going to go back into the same cap band and repeat this process. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, and the last one is 6. And this is going to give us the center bottom of our bowl. You put your hook in the first stitch that we made here, and that's where we'll start our second row. Our next row is going to have 12 stitches in it, which means we're going to be putting looping 2 bands through each of the stitches that are here to go from 6 to 12. So this is 1, and this is where I'm going to put my stitch marker, so I know where my first stitch in the row was. So when I go all the way around, I'll know where to stop. And I need to put another stitch through the same spot I was in the first stitch. So we're putting 2 in each. So that's 2. 3 and 4 will go in this stitch. The next stitch is 5 and 6. Next one, 7 and 8. Nine and 10. And then 11 and 12, and that will be the 6th. We put our hook back in where the stitch marker was to start our next round. Now we're ready to start our third row, and we'll be going up to 18 stitches. So we'll be doing a single stitch, and then we'll be doing an increase in the next. So here's our first single stitch, and we're going to move our stitch marker so we can remember where our first stitch was. And then in the second stitch, we're going to do an increase, and that's 2 in the same spot. So there's the second one. So we're just going to repeat this pattern, a single and then an increase all the way around. a single, then an increase, a single, and then an increase, a single stitch, and then an increase. There should be 6 sets of this to equal 3 times 6 is 18. That's kind of how I keep track. So this is my last set of these 2 stitches, a single and then an increase. Now we're going to make the bottom of our bowl even wider. So we're going to do another row. I'm going to put my hook underneath the stitch where the stitch marker is. Now we're ready to start our 4th row. And for this row, we're going to be going from 18 up to 24. So what we will be doing is doing 2 single stitches and then an increase. So here's our first stitch, and we're going to move our stitch marker so that we can keep our place. And then we're going to do a second single stitch. And then in our next spot, we'll put 2 bands, 2 stitches through that next one. And we're going to repeat this process all the way around. Single, the first one, put the second one in, single, and then the next stitch has a double. 1, 2. Next stitch, repeating the pattern. Single, single, and then 2 stitches. Starting again. Single, single, and then 2 stitches. Single, single, and our last one, next one we put in 2. And then our last set, our last sequence, single, and then another single. And then on our last stitch, we are putting in the increase, 2 bands. Oops. 1, 2. Now we're about to start row number 5. And this will be the last row on the bottom that we're doing. So what we're going to do is go from 24 up to 30. So put our hook under the stitch marker. We'll pull a band through. This is going to be 1, our first stitch. And for this round, we'll be doing a series of 3 singles and then an increase. So that's our first single, second, third, and then we do an increase. 1 and 2. Now we're going to start again. 3 singles and an increase. 1, 2, 3, and then we do our increase. 1, 2. So each of these little sets that we're doing uses 5 bands. We'll be doing it 6 times around. So here's our first 1, 2, 3, 3 singles, and then the increase. I got in the habit of counting my rows this way because sometimes I would lose track because sometimes I was counting 1, sometimes I was counting 2, and then I would sort of forget where I was. So if I just go on a pattern and I know the pattern is repeating all the way to the end, it helps me keep on track. So 3 singles and an increase. 1, 2, 3, and then the increase. 1, 2. I'm going to start it again. 3 singles and an increase. 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to do our increase. 1, whoops, increase. 2. One more time. 1, 2, 3, and then an increase. And you see we have 1 stitch left, so we kept on track here. And the last one has the increase. And this is giving us the bottom of our bowl. Now, I just wanted to point out something to you. When you are crocheting like this, you get 2 sides. One looks like this, where there are there's a line across the stitch, and the other one looks like this, which has more V's. I prefer this side to be my inside because when I'm changing colors and I am doing rows and the round, this side looks a little bit more uniform. So you might want to keep that in mind. You can, do it the opposite way. So what we're going to do now is we're going to start our rows that are going to be going up. And our first row and we're going to do is going to be 30 stitches all around. We're going to do 9 rows of 30. And for this first row, and it's the only row that's like that, we need to change the angle. If we were to do it straight, it would come out this way if we did it the regular way. But we're going to do it in the front loop only of this stitch. So you can see my stitch markers here. Instead of going through both, I'm just going to go through the front loop. And when you go through just the front loop and then you continue to make your stitch exactly the way you did it before, it changes the direction of the stitch. So it can start going upward. So that's 1. And then we're just going to keep going all the way around and using this technique. 2, 3, front loops only. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, oops, slipped, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. Oops, extra band hanging out there. 29. And our last stitch here is 30. And there we go. We're back to the beginning. See how it's made that angle and now is going up? So now we need to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 more rows. And the eyes of your little guy these are around rows 5 and 6. So if you're planning to do different colors or stripes, you might not want to do dark colors right in this spot because you might not be able to see the eyes very well. The other thing that I just want to mention is that a couple of people have been asking, you know, oh, can you make smaller versions of things? And if you decide that this is too much and you don't want to use all the bands, you can just go ahead and maybe do 5 rows and stop and see how you like it. And then we can position the face down lower, and if you like it like that. But I'm going to stripe my bowl in 3 different colors so I don't use up as much of one color. So, you know, that's a technique you might want to try too. It's 30 bands. It might also be a good way to make a rainbow bowl and use up bands that you have less colors of. So I'm going to pause the video now. I'm going to go ahead and make 8 more rows up, and then I'll meet you back when we're done. Welcome back. We've now finished all those 8 additional rows on our bowl. And we're going to be doing 1 more row around the top, 30 stitches. And this 1 row is going to be completely different from what we've done before. We're going to do a slip stitch row instead of a single crochet row. And it's just going to give us a nice little decorative edge. So what we're going to do this row is we're going to put a band on our hook. We're going to pull it through. And instead of putting it back on and making a slip knot, we are going to pull the band through what was already on our hook. Oops. Hold on a second. I lost it. So we're putting our hook through where our stitch marker was. We are pulling a band through there, that space, and then over what's on our hook. And then we're going to make a slip knot. So instead of making a single crochet, we're making a slip knot. So put our hook back in. You're going to pull through the stitch, through what's on your hook, then reclaim it back and make a slip knot. And we're just going to continue this all around. Through the stitch, pull a band through what's on your hook, back on, and slip knot. And you can kind of see how it's coming out different, a little zigzaggy. Just a little bit different to give us this little distinctive edge. So we are going to continue this all the way around. Once you learn how to make a circle by increasing and using the front loop only to go up and using back loop only to go down, your options are pretty much endless. You could make a little handle for this basket, make an Easter basket. You could make it much bigger. You want to put happy food in it, or you know, you can make a whole set of dishes. You can make it smaller. Instead of making it 30 stitches around, you could have stopped at 18. That would have been a smaller bowl. If you do decide to do that, you can just skip ahead in the video and follow the same steps, but you're just knowing that it's, instead of doing 30, you're doing less. We like to eat popcorn when we watch movies in our family, so I wanted a big bowl of popcorn for us. Although my older child doesn't like actual popcorn, just regular popcorn, plain or buttered. She will only eat caramel corn or kettle corn or candy flavored corns. We've got a couple of places in our town where you can get like gourmet flavored popcorn. And we've done that a couple of times as a treat. Blueberry flavored popcorn or strawberry popcorn, or they even have some with chocolate on it. They had a s'mores popcorn that had chocolate and graham crackers and marshmallow bits. So we're just going to keep going all around to the end. And then our bowl is done. Face and popcorn. And then the whole project is done. All right, almost there. One last stitch here. And I'm gonna go ahead and attach it right there. Do one more band. I'm gonna put it through, and I'm just gonna do another slip knot where we're pulling it through everything, back on my hook, and then I'm gonna pull it tight. And then I can just hide that. So take our stitch marker off, and then you can see there is our bowl. So we're going to put our happy face on to make him kawaii. And I'm using the little 6mm safety eyes. So you just want to find where you want to put your eyes and then push them through. If you don't have safety eyes, this is how I suggest it. You can use beads and just attach them like that, or you can use bands. So you take 2 bands, put them on your hook or wrap it around. And you take all those loops and you wrap it around one more time. You're going to pull through a single black band. Get everything back on there. And now you take this, and it won't fall off because there's a lot jammed on there. And what you want to do is find a spot for your eye. You pull one side through, holding on to the other side. And then you take your hook and you stick it back up, and you pull the other side through, and then you can just make a little slip knot in the back, or use a C-clip or tie it in a knot right there. You don't have to have the safety eyes, but I got a bag of about 100 or 50 of them off Amazon. I'm still using them, and I got 2 different sizes. But I like these little ones. So just slide your backs on. If you watch my other videos, you know I have trouble pushing these little things in. Okay, and now I'm gonna do my mouth, and I like to take a band, and I'm just gonna give it a little clip. You can stretch it and pull it until it breaks. And then I'm gonna find a place where I can slip my band in to make a little smile. You just put the two ends in. Let's see. Not exactly even. I made another little guy that had a smirk on it. I kind of liked it. I thought it was cute. If you do an uneven little smile. That's good. Just like that. A little bit hard to see on the dark green. But then you just are going to turn it over and make a knot. And since we're not stuffing it, you will be able to see this on the inside of the bowl. But if you're filling it with something, it should cover it pretty good. You shouldn't have to worry too much. So you're just making a knot in the end of the band. Pulling it tight. And then there is your little mouth, and your bowl is done. Okay, now we're ready to make some popcorn. I'm hoping you can see it. I know I have this white on white, but I'm hoping you'll be able to see it. So you can make as many or as little popcorns as you want to fit inside your bowl. So we're going to be starting and making this cylindrical part and then adding on these little ruffles for the popcorn bits. So we're going to start with a magic ring, and I have a band. You're going to take a band, you're going to put it on your hook and wrap it around twice. So you have 3 loops. We are going to pull through 6 bands. 1, making a slip knot in that, back in the circle, in the ring. 2, back in the same spot we were before. 3, 4, 5, and our last one is 6. And if you lost count, you can count. Oops, if you've lost count, you can count your stitches. 1 is on the hook, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. This is just pulled. So now we're going to move on to our second row. And in the past, we have done an increase of 2 stitches in each single crochet from the previous row. We're not going to be doing that this time. We're going to be doing a single crochet and then an increase. So we'll be going from 6 to 9. So here's our first single. And I'm going to put the stitch marker here. And then in our next stitch, we're going to put 2 for the increase. 1 and 2. And we're going to repeat that pattern 2 more times. A single crochet in the next, and then 2 in the stitch after that. 1, 2. Stitch, single in the next, double in the last stitch on this row. And that's going to bring us up to 9. For row number 3, we're going to do a single stitch in every row all around. That will give us 9 stitches also. So I put my hook in at the beginning of my next stitch, which is right here. I'm going to pull through. This will be 1. I put my stitch marker back on. 2, 3, 4, 5, get under there, 6, 7, 8, and our last one here is 9, right here, right before our stitch marker. All right, hook back in. For our next row, we're going to decrease from 9 down to 6. And what we're going to do is a single crochet and then a decrease, a single crochet and a decrease. We're going to do that 3 times. Here is our single crochet. Moving our stitch marker. Now we're going to do the decrease. So we put our hook under the first, the next stitch that's available to us, and we're going to hold on to it and grab a second one. So now we have 2 stitches on our hook. We're going to pull a band through both of those stitches. So we're combining those 2 stitches into 1. When we're doing a single crochet in the next. Our next 2 stitches, we're combining them together, so grab them both, pull 1 band through. A single crochet in our next. And then we're grabbing our last 2 stitches to combine them for the last stitch. So now we're back to having 6 stitches, and here we are at the beginning. Now we're going to add these parts right here, the pieces of popcorn on the side that kind of make it look like a piece of popped popcorn. And we have 6 stitches that we're going to work with in here. What we're going to do is we're going to put 3, we're going to do a chain and then put 2 double crochets in this first stitch. The second stitch gets a slip knot. We're going to do double crochets in the next, and then a slip knot, double crochets, and then a slip knot. So we'll be using each of these 3 stitches all the way around. So we're going to start by pulling a chain of 3 through. So grab a band, pull it through everything that's on your hook. That's 1, and that's 2, and this is 3. Now when you're doing double crochets and you're in the first part, your first row, 3 chain always equal 1 double crochet. And you can't tell by looking at it whether or not it's a double crochet or if it's the chain, because it all looks together exactly the same. So after we have this 3 chain, we're going to go back into the same spot that our hook was before, and we're going to put 2 double crochets in this spot. And a double crochet uses 3 bands. We're going to pull 1 band through just the loop. We're going to put it back on our hook. I'm using my finger to hold this 3 chain back because we're not including it right now. We're going to pull our second band through just what's on the hook at the beginning, just that first. Now I've got the 3 chain and a 2 chain. Now I want to finish my double crochet and attach these 2 together. So I'm going to take a 3rd band and I'm going to pull it through everything on my hook. I'm going back into the same exact space as I was where the other 2 stitches have been completed, and we're going to repeat that process. We're going to pull 1 band through, and I'm holding what's on my hook already down. We're not using that yet. Pull another band through, and our 3rd band, because each double crochet takes 3 bands, pull it through everything. We're going back into the same exact spot. We are still on stitch number 1 from the last row. We have not moved. We're using that spot. We are going to do pull 1 band through the stitch, and then through what's on our hook, and I'm going to make a slip knot. This is going to give us a little divide between the round bumps of the popcorn. Now we're moving on to our next stitch. Put your hook under. We're going to pull 1 band through the stitch, through what's on our hook, and make a slip knot. Now we're moving over to our next stitch. In this next stitch, we're going to do the 3 double crochet again. So we're going to chain. We start by chaining 3. Pull it through everything that's on your hook. 1, 2, and 3. Now we're going back in the same exact spot, and if you pull on it a little bit, you can see where that hole is. We're going to put 2 double crochet. Each double crochet uses 2 bands, pulling the first band through, the second band through, and now the 3rd band connects it all together. Same spot as we were before, back in. Pull 1 band through, a 2nd band through, and then connecting with the 3rd band. And that's our 3. Back in the same spot we were before. Same spot. We're going to pull 1 band through, and then through what's on our hook, and we're going to make a slip knot. And this is going to give us that little divider. So we've got 2 more spaces available. Oops. So we're going to do our last series here. We're going to do a slip knot like we did before. And then we're going into the last space that's available right here. I'm going to take my stitch marker off so it's out of the way. And we're going to start with our chain of 3. So we're going to pull it through the stitch and what was on my hook. That's 1, 2, and 3. Now going back in the same spot again, we're doing the double crochet. 2 of them, pulling 1 band through. I'm holding my chain back because it's not involved yet. Another band, I'm sorry, through just the first band on the hook. And now that I have a 2 chain here, I'm ready to connect them and finish my double crochet. Last one, back in the hook, in the hole. Too many words today. First band pulled through. Our second band pulled through, And then our last band is through everything. Back in the same hole that we were before, same spot. We're going to pull one band through everything and make a slip knot. And then in our last stitch, the last place that we can do anything, stitch number 6, we're going to pull it through and make a slip knot to end our piece of popcorn. If you're having a little bit of trouble figuring out how to do it, go ahead and rewind it and look at it again. It's a little bit forgiving. Not every single piece of popcorn is the same. Some have 2. Some are just round circles. So if you can't find the exact place to put it in, you know, to put your stitches in, go ahead and just pick one that you think will work, and just go ahead and try it, because I think it'll turn out all right. So that is my bowl with popcorn in it. I'm going to put those in. Let's fill up our bowl. I've got some more popcorn here from my red bowl. And that's how he turned out. He is happy to be full of popcorn. I hope that you liked this tutorial. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Also, I suggest you subscribe to my channel. I've got more designs that I'm working on. I try to get out a video at least one time a week. So please subscribe and keep looming.